Where is he still? Oh, yeah. Recreational leave with the Country Mayors Association in Sydney. All those in favour? Country Mayors. Right. Leave. Recreational leave prior to the Country Mayors. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Could we have Councillor Boland, the prayer?
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Almighty God, we ask you to invoke your blessing upon this council, direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement and the true welfare of the people of the council area, our state and Australia. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Boland. Councillor Gallagher.
Yeah, I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet today, the land of the Winnicarli people. We pay our respect to those elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. Councillor Brown.
We take time to reflect, remember and honour the over 800 miners that lost their lives and those that were crippled or maimed on the line of load. We thank the brave miners and their wives who were part of the 1919-1920 strike that lasted over 500 days and delivered a 35-hour working week. Mine is our past and future.
Thank you, Councillor Brown. Disclosures of interest. Do we have any disclosures of interest?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a disclosure in Merrill Minute 8/23 relating to the increase in emergency services. It's the conflict is just that you're writing to me as a recommendation as President of Local Government New South Wales. I'll step out of the chamber.
Thank you, Councillor Turley. Any other pecuniary interests, conflicts of interest? No. We move on to item 1, Merrill Minute. Would you like to work out, Councillor Sterling? So Merrill Minute is damage and increase to emergency service levy costs that the Merrill Minute number 8/23 dated May 22, 23 be received. The council writes to the Treasurer, Minister for Emergency Services, the Minister for Local Government and local state members, expressing council's strong opposition to the New South Wales government's last-minute decision to impose an enormous emergency service levy ESL cost increase on councils for 2023-24 by scrapping the ESL subsidy for councils and at a time after council has publicly advertised its operational plan and annual budget to the community, noting that as a consequence of the unannounced 73% increase in state emergency service budget and an 18% increase in the fire and rescue New South Wales budget. Council's 3.7% rate increase to provide essential community service and infrastructure has been significantly eroded. C, advising that the council's decision will lead to a reduction in important local services and/or the cancellation of necessary infrastructure projects. D, calling on the New South Wales government to take immediate action to I1, restore the ESL subsidy 2023-24, 2, urgently introduce legislation to decouple the ESL from rate peg to enable councils to recover the full costs. 3, develop a fairer, more transparent and financial sustainable method of funding critically important emergency services in consultation with the local government. Number 3, that council writes to the chair of the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal, IPART, advising that council's first forced emergency service contribution is manifestly disproportionate to the 23-24 rate cap, which has resulted in additional financial stress. At number 4, that council writes to the President of the New South Wales LG, seeking the association ongoing advocacy to bring about a relief in the burden of council's emergency services contribution. Can we have a seconder for that? Councillor Page got his hand up. It's a really important one for councils, as is written in the Merrill Minute. council, it's been imposed on council. So when it's put onto the community, it looks like council is trying to make money, but it's just a form of cost shifting. The New South Wales government needs to decouple it from our normal rate revenue or increase in rates, because as we collect money, different ratepayers pay different amounts of money for that as well. So it has an ongoing effect. It makes council look bad when we're actually collecting funds for the New South Wales government. The community needs to be made fully aware, $801,000 that council is collecting is not being used by this council, is being put onto the state government. Do we have any other speakers for this? Councillor Page.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, this is an issue that's been going on for a long time. It's called cost shifting. Outback shires and councils are not financially viable today and haven't been for the last 20 years. They've got us in the poor basket, financially poor, and they just continue putting these costings on us. Outback shires are different than the cities. The city councils have billions of dollars surplus every year, and half of them don't know what to do with it. So it's time the state and federal government put a plan in place so we can financially survive in the outback, because as you know, and every councillor in this room knows, it's tough for this council to achieve good outcomes for our future. So we need to make it clear to the people, and they know what the problem is, just they're too bloody lazy to make the effort to make the plan in place so we in the outback can do what we do well. We produce lots of products, millions of dollars in minerals and sheep and wool. You can go on and on forever. We've been carrying this country for years, the outback, and it's time they recognised and make the funding available so we can continue, doing what we do for Australia.
Thank you, Councillor Page. Any other councillors?
Just quickly, Mayor Kennedy.
Councillor Gallagher.
Just quickly, look, I echo the comments of Councillor Page, but I don't know why the government now has made a decision after knowing we've gone through our budget, after knowing councils have put some money away for this levy, and it's been this one is over 200,000 extra for that work for our council. Why they scrapped it all of a sudden? That's another reason why we may have to ask too. Why have they done it now? You can't say it's a change of government. You can't say it's just change of different things. Everyone knows what it's all about prior to that. We have accountants, we have treasurers on both sides of politics, and they know this decision was going to happen, and why are they scrapping it now? I commend this recommendation, and we should take it on as high as we can.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. Any other councillors? Just briefly, look, our council has done a lot of hard work. The staff council done a lot of hard work to what will probably deliver later on tonight, a surplus budget. First surplus budget in a couple of decades, budgeted, just to reinforce that. So it was a really good effort from this council and the councillors and the staff to come up with that. And all our hard work can be easily undone by state government cost shifting. It's really unfair that some of the performance that we've done and how good it has been will be overshadowed by the fact that we're paying an extra 140,000 beyond the extra that we budgeted, which was quite a bit in the first place. So they need to understand that, and the community needs to understand that. Thank you. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Someone would like to grab Councillor Turley?
Just make a comment.
Yep.
That might be a good item to include in the newsletter.
Yeah.
The fact that there's been so much of an increase.
Yep. Happy with that. Councillor Turley, passed as written. We move on to item 1. Broken Hill City Council report number 92/23 dated May 2023 draft delivery program, 2022 to 26 incorporating draft operational plan, 2023 to 24 inclusive of the statement of revenue policy and draft schedule of fees and charges 23-24. Do we have a mover for the recommendation?
Move as written.
Moved councillor Boland, seconded
Second that way.
councillor Gallagher. Councillor Boland, you wish to speak to that?
Yes, just having a read through, and obviously, as you just mentioned, the budgeted surplus. I'm just making sure I'm on the right report. Budgeted, as you mentioned, for the first time in a decade. This is a good step forward for the city. We've got aging infrastructure, assets that we need to maintain as well, maintain services, grow services, make the city attractive to the mining developments that are coming online. Lots of work to be done in the future, but this is a great start, well-delivered report, and looking forward to the future and delivering on some of the stuff that's listed here.
Thank you, councillor Boland. Very good. Any other speakers?
Just
Councillor Aldgate.
Just a question. I certainly agree with councillor Boland. But as always, there are odd things that concern me. Could I just ask on page 13 of 44 in the fees and charges, the Normfox Sporting Complex, the Barrier District Cricket League, their use of the facility has gone from $800 to $1,500, 47% increase. Is there any specific reason for that?
Through you, Mayor Kennedy, I'll take that on notice, councillor Aldgate. We did go out to each of the committees for them to set their fees, but I'll have to, I'll take that on notice and get back to the councillors.
And I'll just express my,
Could I just quickly on that one, councillor
Yeah,
Aldgate
sure.
as well? So the chairman of that committee actually is also the chairman of, I think Peter Johnson is still, so he's
Yep.
also chairman of the Barrier District
Yes.
Cricket. So whatever's happened there, it's been in agreement with the Barrier District Cricket,
I
I
see,
dare say.
I see. Well, that's fine. I always have discomfort when I read the costs associated with the cemetery. Not any specific one, just as a whole. It's becoming terribly expensive to die in Broken Hill. And I think we should be mindful of that in future, that it just seems to be getting to an unrealistic figure by the time you take it in consideration, the cost of workers permits, the internments, the exclusive rights and all the other fees that apply, just getting out of hand. But apart from that, I think it's a great report.
Thank you, councillor Aldgate. Any other, councillor Turley?
Yeah, I just had two questions. One is, just wanted to confirm that the Heritage Festival has been cancelled. Is it in the budget or has it been removed?
So I'd suggest it's been removed
Hmm.
after conversations with yourself at the briefing.
Well, I think I wanted to see a curator.
Yeah, we weren't going to have a curator.
Yeah.
So if the festival itself isn't viable as was suggested at that meeting, it goes out. We now will concentrate on the 140-year festival that we have this time around and see how that goes, and we'll probably then base our heritage expenditure on an event similar to that each year, and then we'll budget for that.
Well, I have to say I'm disappointed because I think it had legs. The other one is, my question is.
Just before you go on that, just so we're all clear, the question was asked of me whether I supported it. I said yes. The answer from you was that it's not working. It then went on to say that the money wasn't being spent wisely. We needed to have a curator. I don't think there'd be any councillors here that think we need to add to our structure to add an extra person in that position. So for anyone that's watching that, I think they all need to understand that this was at a budget workshop. that yourself, councillor Turley, brought it up about the expenditure on that and that wasn't working. Your question was to me, did I like it? I said yes, and I had no problem. It was then explained that it wasn't working. And I said, okay.
I think as we explained at the meeting, it needs a curator because at the moment, it wasn't designed to attract people to participate. So, my other
Which means it
question-
wasn't working.
So but it could work very well. So my other question is, I understand we've had a massive increase in our auditor's fee, and I wondered if Jay could brief us on that? Or have we had one? It's just that across the state they're having.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. I might refer to our Chief Financial Officer. We only received our annual engagement plan for this next year's audit yesterday, so I've not had a chance to review it yet. But my quick read was that our increases have been in line with around a 3% increase. We haven't seen the biggest increases across the state, and that was aligned to obviously less travel time, and that council over the last 2 years, but particularly the last year, we've been able to increase a lot of efficiencies within our audit process and the timeliness of our statements. So whilst there probably has been an increase, a lot of that's been reduced through our efficiencies, but I'll confirm that increase with the councillors unless Mr. Brown's able to bring that up on his computer.
Yeah, through you. I'll have to come back to it with you. I can't bring the exact figures up, so I'll take that on notice. So I'll bring that. Sorry.
Thank you. Councillor Turley, any other questions? No. Just because in all fairness, all councillors deserve the right to put their questions forward and ask. And I will ask all councillors this question. So a heritage curator plus on costs, you're looking at probably close to 100,000 per annum. You then would have to spend about 100,000 per year on the events as we have over the previous few years. So the budget would be a couple of 100,000 for these heritage thing and hope that it grows. Is there any councillors that would support or would like to move an amendment that a curator's position be added to, or budget enough money to be budgeted to do that?
You actually don't need a full-time curator, Mr. Mayor.
Well, you still need, it's still, the thing is, councillor Turley, it costs 100,000 to run the festival as it is. Any additional costs will be an additional cost to that amount. I don't know how many hours you're talking, but even 20 hours, you're still looking with on costs and whatever, $60,000 or $70,000. So it's an increase to something that was stated by yourself that's not working. And I'm now asking, do any councillors would like to remove an amendment to increase the budget, the wage budget, to incorporate, or the budget for heritage to incorporate that? No amendments? What's your amendment, councillor Turley?
That we investigate the funding for a curator for the Heritage Festival. It's not going to be included in this budget, but the 2024 budget.
You have a seconder with that? Councillor Brown, speakers in favour of that? I assume you mean the amendment includes the budget that's already moved, councillor Turley. So an add to that?
Yep.
Yep. Speakers for? Speakers
So
against?
I can happily speak for it. Mr. Mayor, I think there is great opportunity, and I can't remember if it was in your original mayoral minute that you wanted 2 heritage festivals, but I think there's great opportunity for the Heritage Festival, not only for the community, but to attract visitors. You only have to see the walk tours around Broken Hill to see how people love seeing the heritage of our city. One of the stories, it's constantly about wanting to hear stories of miners, wanting to understand how we're the most continuous mine. we haven't quite got it right because we've actually had to transfer all the workload onto staff that already have to keep up the work to a whole range of other programs. What I was suggesting is a curator for 2 years to set the model of what the festival would be right, to get the databases right, to get the concept right, and to make sure that it'll be an easy program to pick up and run with. There are many things we know that works for the festival, like the mining talks by Ross Clark and other geologists. We know that the talk of the heritage of the cemetery works. We know that the walks work. We know that talks on buildings work, but we never get it right altogether. So my concept is we need more festivals in Broken Hill. We need to invest in mining as our future. And therefore, the sense of having a curator, the cost of a curator, and how much would that be, makes sense to us for the Heritage Festival. So I'm happy to move that way.
Thank you, councillor Taylor. We have speakers against.
Speak against.
Councillor Allgate.
I don't for 1 minute detract from the importance of the Heritage Festival. But having said that, we had a restructure report before us and a workshop on that particular restructure just recently, and that was accepted by the council, and it streamlined lots of the areas of employment. As far as I'm concerned, if we're going to employ anybody, it should be outdoor staff. There's such a shortage of outdoor staff, which is limiting what this council can do. We have made promises that we will do lots of things, and we've started on them, but a lot of it depends on staffing levels and resources, and we just haven't got the resources to spend $100,000 in addition to what we're already spending on the festival. To my way, is just foolish. I think we should be, if we had that money, and we haven't, and that's an important thing, we haven't got that money. But if we did have it, it should be going into outdoor staff, and the what used to be called the engineering section should be, the staff level should be coming up with outdoor workers, and that's my. I think the Heritage Festival is an important aspect. There's no doubt about that, but there's a cost factor, and I don't agree with that. The extra $100,000 or so.
Thank you, councillor Allgate. Did you want to talk, councillor Page?
I do, but not on this issue. I'm just waiting to talk
Oh,
on another.
Okay, no
another part of
worries.
The budget, Mr. Mayor.
Yep, all right. I'll just briefly say, look, I'm with you, councillor Allgate. Any money that we save and accumulate definitely should be spent where the vast majority of people were telling us that it should be spent, and that's cleaning up the weeds on footpaths and out at the cemetery. You know, the Heritage Festival is very important. I loved it, but the reality is we got 20 people at one event, about 40 at another event. We're spending 70-odd thousand for the lights event. We get 100 people there. People loved it. It wasn't bringing tourists into the town. And if we went out to the community and asked whether we thought that we should be employing staff to have a better Heritage Festival, we should be employing staff to clean weeds on the street, I think we all know what the answer to that would be, particularly when you take into account, we've just said, after moving a motion to complain about the emergency services levy, and the additional 140,000 could easily provide 2 full-time employees doing that work. It's fine that we say that, and then we look at moving not to employ more people in doing the things that people want, but to employ a curator to try and improve a heritage festival that we know is not going to bring any people into the town. It's a great thing for tourists that are already here. They come along. And the Glam Festival is a perfect example of that. People, when they're in town, will go out and have a look at what's going on. But I can tell you, no one, not, well, if anyone did, there wouldn't have been many come to town to actually attend that Glam Fest. That cost around $300,000. So that's the sort of money you're talking about to have an event of that size, and then you put a curator on top of that. So that's the reason I am against that. All the councillors in favour of the amendment? Councillor Turley, Councillor Brown, all those against? Councillor Gallagher, Councillor Page, Councillor Allgate, Councillor Boland, Councillor Chandler, Councillor Jewett, and myself, Mayor Kennedy. The amendment is lost back on to the original motion. Councillor Page, you'd like to make a
Just-
comment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just on the budget, at the budget meetings we had, it was very clear that people were very concerned about the cost to run our pool. I know other councillors, one's nodding his head, and he was very vocal along with myself. So this is an issue I'd like to think the council will keep a close eye on to make sure that what's happening down there, the services are provided that we're paid for, and long term, make sure it's we can afford what we have down there. And it's a huge concern because it's a huge cost. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Page. I'm sure Councillor Page would agree the YMCA does a great job down there, but a council, and we have a contract with them for considerable more years, but this council will always look at making sure that with the money we have, we provide the best services we can, and that will include looking at the operations of the pool. So I'm sure you would agree with that. So any other comments? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. Move on to item number 2 is the Broken Hill City Council report number 93/23 dated May 17, 2023, draft long-term financial plan 24 to 2033. We have a mover for that. Move Councillor Allgate, seconded
Second that way.
Councillor Gallagher. Councillor Allgate, you'd like to speak to that?
Only to say that I think it's a good report, under uncertain times, there's no doubt about that. It's a comprehensive report, gives us a good rundown of what's happening. And, apart from that, I can't really say much. I think the important thing is we can see the deficits diminishing, and let's hope that we can continue to see that the deficits diminishing. COVID and the uncertainty in financial markets across the world now make it terribly difficult to forecast anything. And I think under the circumstances, the results that this draft long-term financial plan shows or displays are pretty good results.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Councillor Gallagher.
No, I just totally agree with the comments of Councillor Allgate. Well done, this report.
Any other councillors? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you, councillors. That brings the council extraordinary meeting to an end.